Hey guys, it's Naked Ratty Joe. I'm back at it again, and this time I'm looking to install a brand new exhaust onto my 2024 Suzuki GSX-8S. The exhaust I got is the Delkevic 9-inch exhaust, and I got to replace the exhaust on here. So I'm looking to do it myself, and this is going to be quite a bit of an epic actual work. So what I'm looking to do is this: like, first I got to take some of the plastics off. Then I need to take the actual radiator off. I need to replace the antifreeze fluid inside. Then I need to take the exhaust off. I need to put on the new exhaust. Then I need to actually put on the radiator, fill it up with radiator fluid, give it a test, see how it is. And then what I need to do, the final part is I actually need to do an oil change. So I don't need to replace the fluid filter. I just need to drain the oil and then put the new oil inside. So it's gonna be a full day of working on my motorcycle, which I like motorcycles a lot. So it's a pretty cool part for me. I do want to do this disclaimer. I am not a mechanic. I am not an expert on these things. Do not look to this as an instructional video. This is more of a, hey, this is what this guy did. I may get things wrong and I may wind up hurting your bike. So just want to put that out there that by no means you should be looking at this as a how-to video. This is more just of what this guy did. I will refer you over to other people on YouTube that are experts that are, or a real life mechanic. Is what I would say. Go to a real life mechanic, but really rely on me. I'm going to be trying to do the best I can to kind of figure things out. And we'll start off from here.
Hey guys, I want to come in with just a couple of disclaimers. The first one is that, and I cannot stress this enough, I'm not a mechanic. I don't have a wealth of knowledge and I've not worked on a lot of different motorcycles. This is the first time I ever done something like this where I changed the exhaust. And that's what this is, just me documenting myself changing the exhaust. Number two is that when it came to the actual coolant fluid, I didn't remove the drain plug from it. And as a result, I was getting fluids all over the place, and that's not the way to do it. You're supposed to take out the drain plug. That's one of the first things you're doing when you're taking out the actual radiator, and I didn't do it. That's why there's all that fluid everywhere. Number three is that I did wind up using both of the bottles for the actual coolant fluid. Made perfect sense, so I used them both, and that was really good on there. Number four is that I do not work for that company, Delkevic, nor did they give me any product for free. I did it completely. I paid for it myself and everything. I chose it because I felt like, oh, it was a great looking exhaust, and that's why I chose it. And I looked at some reviews about the way it sounded, and I thought it sounded good. But no means is this a sponsorship or not like that. I'm completely just a free independent person. So I do gonna add some. I'll add some timestamps also. So that way you guys can breeze through. I know it's a long video. Sorry about that. But I thought it'd be better to leave this stuff in, even the mistakes I made. So check it out and we'll go from here.
The first step is I'm going to open up all these and see what's exactly inside and make sure I got everything. So give me a second. Oh man, let me try this again. I wasn't recording that last time. Hey, so first thing is when they come in all the parts, they're really tightly wrapped and you need a box cutter to get them open. This is everything that comes inside. It has the, start first with these part, I think they call them the headers. They're labeled 1 and 2. Then you have the conversion piece, the 1 and 2. Then you have this piece over here, which comes out for them when they come together. You got the exhaust, you got the thing to hold the exhaust over there. You also have the rings that go inside where I think the headers are. I think that's what they call them. And then you have the things that help pull it, is what you have that comes with it also too. So everything's inside, including a second pulley. Is what it has. Are these the same size? Yeah, I guess they're the same exact size, but they gave me 2 of them. We'll see what happens. And why they gave me 2, I don't know. We'll figure it all out. Again, I'm not a mechanic by no means. It also comes with this thing to help tighten it. the adhesive sealant. The one thing I don't see is any of the like silicone spray to help it slide on. So I don't see any of that stuff. And obviously you gotta have your own tools to put everything on. So this is everything that comes inside. Super excited. I probably should have worn some gloves. Again, I'm gonna make a lot of mistakes. Probably should have worn some gloves so that I don't get my fingerprints all over it. But it's too late now, so we'll see. Once I try to put everything together, then I'll come back around and try to wipe my fingerprints off and go from there. But okay, so I just took that plastic piece in the middle, and it just got two little spokes that come up. You pop it and it pops up pretty easy. These are the same way where you just pop it in the middle and then it comes up. These, I'll use the Allen wrenches that are in the bottom of the seat. I think this one takes the bigger one, and I'll just take those and take that off, and I think there's one more that applies over there, and I'll get to that one too. All right, guys, I just took off one of the panels. A couple key things is that so you take it off and then it just kind of pops off is what happens there. And as you can see, now things are nicely exposed as far as like the hose piece and all this other stuff that I need to adjust and take off and play around with. It's all there. At the bottom here, you had this, sorry, I try to get it in focus. You had this hole over here that took this screw, which needed the Allen key that was right next to it. Yes, my motorcycle was dirty. I probably should have cleaned it beforehand, but I was like, it's all good. So this is one side taken off, and you can see everything that's exposed. I'll go do the next side next. I now have both sides completely off for the plastics. So you're talking about that side, you're talking about this side over here. They're completely off. And as you can see, this is the radiator is what you're looking at. Again, I need to drain the fluid out. I also need to replace it is what I need to do. So a couple things as I'm looking at here, seems like there's like two bolts that hold this piece together. There's a bolt over here. Then there's also a bolt down here. So if I'm thinking is that what you need to do is to unscrew this, unscrew that. It's the same thing on the other side. There's a tube that connects over here. And then there is, looks like there's another tube that connects on this side. And those are the parts and pieces that make it up. I got a bucket I can use to try to collect everything. I'm not seeing any additional wires where there's one over here. I have to figure that part out. I couldn't imagine anybody trying to get in here to take this off, the exhaust off, that close. Like, to me, that's crazy. I can't believe anybody was actually sticking their hands in there trying to do all that. That's insane. So we're not gonna do that at all. We're gonna take the radiator off, and then that'll give us clean exposure to the actual exhaust. So let me go get a bucket, see if I can try to collect it, and then see if I can unscrew these two or 4 screws and take it off. Good news, I was able to take the radiator off, and it was not too terrible. So, but I made a huge mess. When I took off the other side, I made even more of a mess. But you got this part that's off, and there was this part that was connecting, and you can see like there's this piece that is like you got the grooves on it. That's the part you push down. You push that part down, and then it comes off of the back of here. So that's how the whole piece comes out. And as you can see, so now you can see the entirety of the exhaust. So you can see those bolts, the wire, the 2 bolts on that side and that side and that side. Sorry, let me try to get in frame. You can see the bolts of the 2 wires. You can also see the exhaust itself. I don't know why that part looks black. I know why that looks like it does, because it's pretty dirty. So the next part is I need to clean up a little bit, so I'm gonna make a bigger mess. And then we're gonna start to take the actual exhaust off. Want to give a quick update that I am halfway done with taking out these bolts. That part is actually really easy when you take the radiator off. So definitely that is the go move, is to take the radiator off, because it is so easy. Basically, I'm utilizing this tool over here. Sorry, it's got the little header piece to it. It's like an Allen wrench, but it's got a header piece to it that lets you, like, I can switch this off from one to the other, but like in some cases I'll use this, and other cases I'll use that. People always say like these two are the hardest to get to. Yeah, because you got a big ass fucking radiator there. So like if you take that radiator off, now it's super easy to get to and there's no problems or issues. The radiator was easy to come off, so I don't know what people are thinking trying to keep that shit on. You just got to take off that radio, take it completely off, change your radiator fluid. The fluid is cost like $10, so it's not even that expensive or anything. It's going to get messy. Probably should do it outside. You know, it's probably maybe that's why people don't want to do it, because it does get messy. I got fucking messy when I took it off, but you can see the mess. I cleaned up some of it. Second thing I want to point out, I just utilize these boxes. These boxes barely fit. Like, I don't know if I can really show you how, this is the box that came with the actual, you know, exhaust that came from the company, Delkevic. I just put those boxes underneath. So look at that, like it barely fits. So when it comes to having something to put down and put the weight down, at least with the Suzuki GSX, if you get the ones that I got, which is the Delkevic 9-inch, that is, the box fits just fine. So you can utilize that box. So my plan is I'll take off the two more of those. I'll come around, take this off, so I can take off the hose, and then I will come through and then finally unbolt over here, unbolt over there. Then the whole thing should drop down. And again, you know, I would just say to use the box that it came with, and you'll be fine. There's it'll be able to hold it up and stuff. So obviously everything's cold, so you don't have to worry about the styrofoam. But that's where I'm at. I'll give you an update just in a minute. Here's an update. So I have taken off the muffler. Yay! So the again, that part was really easy because I took the radiator off. I had to at one point take off, like there's a metal piece that goes right there. Just made it a little bit easier to get it off on there. I left the bolt there, make it all kind of easy to get back to. It took off the bolts on the side that hold the actual piece together, on the exhaust piece together, was really easy to take off. The hard part was this thing, the O2 sensor. It was actually really tough to take off, and a lot of it just, it's been on so long, it's got rust on it, or some kind of chemical that's on it. I don't know if it's rust or not, whatever the hell that is, all over the motorcycle. That was really tough to take off, and it took a while for me to get that one. But eventually I got it, and I got it by taking off the two in the back. Again, I had the piece that worked out really well as far as supporting the motorcycle exhaust. Did a good job. So then once took off those two pieces in the back, this is the only thing that was connected, but it was holding on to that, it was laying on top of the actual boxes. So now I took it and I turned it around, and it got to an angle where I could use one of my wrenches to get to this, because I could not take this thing off. It was a monster. Somehow or another, it got stripped. I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but I tried to do the whole like, yeah, I'm gonna use some rubber band or rubber band material. That shit didn't work. But now we're looking at it and we're doing good, man. This is really feeling great right now, that we got all the old piece off, we got the exhaust off, we got the radiator off. The next thing I need to go do is to install the new exhaust. Is what I need to go do. One more thing which I got to mention was taking off the old brass pieces. There are these brass pieces here. They don't look like that. When they're in there, they look black completely is what they look. And they're right against here. One over there, one over there. They are a motherfucker to get off. What I had to do was use some WD-40 lubricant. I had to hit it up, wait 30 minutes, then come back around, and then I used the flathead screwdriver and I kind of like wedged it in and just worked it. And then you gotta work it on this side, then work a little bit on that side. Once you get about halfway, then you can pluck it on off. But you can see what it looks like. Again, I was trying not to tear it. I was trying to work it over so it can come on out. And that's what that part looks like. So now, finally, I got all the old stuff out. I'm gonna take a quick cloth and try to wipe that down, a microfiber cloth, and then I'll go to work installing the actual new exhaust piece. So what I'll do is I'll first start with the headers, and actually the new brass pieces, I'll put those in, then start with the headers and go number 1, number 2, and then go from there. But let's go get started. Okay, update that right now, what we're looking at is I've installed the first one, number 1, and it's clearly marked number 1. It's got the number 1 sticker on it. Then you can see that the copper part is there. I've also used this thing in order to utilize the sealant. So I'll do the same thing over on this side, number 2, then I'll start going over there. Unfortunately, it's getting super hot right now, so I'm starting to sweat. I may close the garage and make it cooler. All right, guys, so yes, I had to close the garage. It got way too hot. It's like 80 degrees right now in Oregon. I want to show you this here. I got the pieces, they're loosely based in. There's number 1 over here, number 2 over here. Pretty loose, as you can see. Lots of play that's on it, so you can move things around. My next thing is to install this piece. So as you can see, it's labeled 1 and 2, and that's the way it goes on. It's like here, actually, sorry. It goes on like this, because you want this O2 sensor on the outside. So it goes 1 and 2 like this, and as you see, 1 and 2, 1's over there, 2's over there. That's how this goes on. Once I put this on, I'll put on the springy clamps. I'll probably do it at the end and put that on. But let me go put this stuff inside also too. So that way it's supposed to lock it in place. But let me try to get this done. I'm on a timer now because I put something up here at the top, and you're supposed to put it on. It's supposed to be able to set after an hour. So I'm on a timer. Let me try to get it done as soon as I can. I have the 2 pieces on. You see, obviously I got some spillage. I'll try to clean that up later, but you can see that I got the piece on. I use this hanger to hook it in place. So now they're both hooked in place, still pretty loose, and I'm gonna go and install this one next is what I'm gonna do, the O2 sensor. One thing about the O2 sensor, it had a piece that was helping it hang up right over here. It was like a zip tie that they utilize. So I'll have to replace that. I got a bunch of zip ties that are available, but I want to take the old one out. And I'll get that in a minute. All right, let me go get this done and then we'll go to the next part. Next up is this piece right here, which comes on, and the goal is going to be to put it on. So somehow or another, this thing's supposed to catch and be able to utilize. I got some other pieces over there, which I can try to use to try to make sure I can get it nice and aligned. But we'll see what we can do, and I'll do it right now. I just finished getting this piece on. This does not take any of these screws that came with it. This takes the original screw that came and secured the exhaust. That's what this takes. And that's the one you gotta put in. for whatever reason, it was extremely difficult for me to get it in. I had to really try and take it out, take it in, take it out, take it in, and kept going back and forth. I had to unplug all of this, which is nice because I got to straighten up this wire, the actual O2 sensor. But I had to unplug all that, had to finagle around quite a bit to make this part fit in. So now it's fit in and it's nice and secure, which feels great. Next piece is going to be putting on the exhaust, and I also need to put on this clamp piece, so that's going to be interesting also too. Let me try to give it a shot and go next. Before I put on the exhaust, one thing I am going to take out is the baffle. I don't know what's going to sound like with or without the baffle. I don't really care. If it's way too loud, then I'll take this off and put it back on. But for right now, I'm going to take this baffle piece off. It's pretty easy. Just unscrew that and just pull it out. And that's the end of that part. So I'll take the baffle piece off. I'll put this on, and then there's a matter of trying to figure out where this thing secures to, which I'll try to look around and try to see. There's really no directions. The directions are awful on this piece. All right, I just took out the baffle out of this thing. It's kind of crazy. And basically what you got to do is you unscrew that part and keep the washer in case you ever want to put it back in. Then I set it up straight up high like that. Then I basically came in with a hammer and a stick. All right, boom. And I kind of worked it around and everything. And then it popped out is what happened. So they do got some directions on their website about how to do this, thank God. But it's on their YouTube page. They got a YouTube page, so they got it on there. So I've taken that out. Now I can actually go put this in and then try to figure out how to mount it. Little update that we were able to get this piece on over here, that piece on over there. Very unusual the way it comes on. I have not tightened it, of course. So we got the full muffler on. It's what we're looking at right now, all the way down and through. The next step in the process is to start tightening things up and really getting it nice and sturdy. And I'll have to do the heads up front, go all the way down over here to this bolts, to those bolts, and just go be sure to tighten them up and everything. I may start first with getting this a little bit tighter, or I'll figure it out from there actually. But that's the next step, is to just start tightening it up and going from there. At this point, everything is tightened up and this looks really good. I'm really excited about the way this muffler looks, or exhaust, and I'm happy the way that's turned out really well. Probably the hardest thing was attempting to, it was actually trying to figure out this part and what was the right bolt to use, because there wasn't any directions or any pictures that showed like that you're supposed to use the original bolt that was here before. But once I figured that out, trying to get that hooked in, it did take a few times and tries, finally getting that part right. Same thing over here. There wasn't any true directions on how to get this part done. So that was really hard trying to figure it all out. I had to look up online at other people that installed this on there and was able to figure that part out. But I like the way it turns out. It doesn't sit flush completely, and I don't know if I can pick that up on camera. This exhaust piece, and I tried turning it however I could, but it doesn't quite fit like flush all the way around. But it doesn't move at all. It just, I wish that it was kind of a little bit flush. There's like a little space right over here. But this is as tight as it can go, and you can't really move this thing at all. But that's what we're looking at in regards to the exhaust. That piece is all done. I put on some Goopy Gone to take care of the stickers. So I was able to get it off, the stickers, the 1, 2, 1, 2, but it left some adhesive behind, so I'm letting that sit, and then I'm gonna try to peel that off. Also use a zip tie, just zip tie the O2 sensor, so that way, that's the way it was before, and it just sits like that is what it does. Once I scrape off the Gooby Gone, I'll give the exhaust pipe a wipe down. Then the next step will be trying to get the radiator attached. Here's an update. So I went through, I put the 2 bolts at the top, one on this side, one on that side on. I left the 3rd bolt unbolted. And the main reason is that I wanted to have some room in case when I connect these hoses. The other thing I did was I connected up, sorry, I'm not pointing at it. I connected up this piece, and that was really easy, just push it on in. But I would say probably do the first 2, connect the hoses, then do the 3rd. It's just the way I'm looking at doing it. So I'm gonna connect that. Again, it really helps to have this thing in order to squeeze these part together. I don't know any other way you can do it. This thing goes on with a lot of force, so it probably could hold it just by itself, but you know, obviously you want to put the clamp on. And it goes pretty far, it goes up to there. So once, and I didn't put the clamps on that side yet. I want to still have that wiggle room. And then, so I'll put this on, it goes pretty far. Then I'll squeeze this together, bring that on over, and there we go, that'll be all. Hey guys, so I have installed the radiator. As you can see, I went through, like I mentioned, and I put the 2 at the top on, then I came around, then I put the hoses to connect those, connect the electrical part, and then I went and clamped these things. That was really easy. It goes back here is where it goes, so there's plenty of room. It's not gonna go anywhere as far as with this tubing goes. That's on really nice and firm. I put this one on too, and again, it's not gonna go anywhere. This one goes pretty far back also, so it's not gonna go anywhere. I didn't know if I was supposed to use any type of like adhesive or anything. I didn't. Again, not a mechanic. I tighten these up, just hand tighten these up. I just did it by hand. So the radiator is back in. The next step is to put the radiator fluid inside. Never done that before, so I gotta go look at the owner's manual and read what the box says about how to put it in. All that kind of good stuff on there. So I'll take it from there, read what it says, and then give you guys an update. What you're looking at is the bottom of the coolant system. So apparently it goes in here, it goes to there, and then somehow or another ends up here, and then you got the actual reserve section. I just couldn't figure out a way to just go ahead and dump it. So I decided to turn it upside on. There was some screws right here, and there was this cover. Sorry, I'm not getting anything in shots. There's the screws, there's a cover for it. Then over here, there's a cover. Then there's over here where you got the screws that are there. And then once I unscrewed that, I dumped it out. So we got this part done. That's the last bit of the old coolant. So now I'm gonna go ahead and then I'm gonna screw this back in place. You just a couple of screws, and then I'll start filling up the actual coolant inside. By the way, this is the coolant fluid that I'm using, and it's right from the actual Suzuki dealership. It's only 10 bucks. I went ahead and got 2 quarts just to be on the safe side as far as making sure I got enough. And I think that's the maximum capacity that it is. And I'm gonna just use a funnel to go put it in. This is already pre-mixed, so you don't need to add any water, anything of that sort. You just put it inside is all you're doing, and go from there. So I'm gonna put that inside. I'm gonna wait a few seconds after I start adding some in. I saw online that you should be rocking the bike back and forth. to try to make sure that you get any air bubbles out. Someone also, I was reading online that they were mentioning about a drain plug. I got no clue where that is. I'm gonna leave that part alone. I got pretty much all the stuff that was coming inside the radiator itself, along with all the stuff that I spilled all over me. But I couldn't find out where that was, so I'm just gonna say fuck it, and we're just gonna go just like it is. So I'm gonna fill it up and then go from there. I decided to leave this part uncovered so I can see as much as I could. And everything, yeah, it's dirty, but I'm not cleaning it. And we'll go from here. What we got going on right now is that I got the radiator fluid in. It took almost the entire first bottle, so maybe I don't need the 2 bottles. Again, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. And there's still some that's left over. We'll see from there. Obviously, you got to make sure I get that filled up again. But this provides a great opportunity for me to turn it on. So I'm going to turn it on, see if we can get some of the fluid to drain within the motorcycle. And I get to hear the actual exhaust for the first time. So let's go, wish me luck, and let's see what it sounds like. Oh my goodness. Uh-oh. By the way, I spilled some more antifreeze. yeah, I got spilled everywhere, but man, that thing is loud now. It sounds really serious. Like we got a serious motorcycle now, so that's amazing. I love that sound. This is what the baffle out, and it's got such a deeper, richer sound to it. It's much louder. It sounds like just man. I mean, it sounds almost like a kind of like a Harley sound to it, because it's just so much louder, so much deeper, so much serious. So kudos to the guys that made the actual the piece. And obviously it's gonna be smoking because there's all this like, adhesives. I mean, I got everything on the fucking bike you can mention. So like all the chemicals and stuff that I was putting on and all that kind of stuff. So when you first start up, it's supposed to be a little bit smoky and everything. It's not a lot of smoke, but you can hopefully see it's a little bit. But it sounds amazing. So let me try to see if I can get some more antifreeze inside, and then we'll go from there, okay? All right, I want to add this in, and I'll probably cut this near the front. I took off more of the screws from the plastic than I really need to. You can see here, I took off this screw, I took off that screw, I took off that. That really just holds it in place is what it does. It appears as though really you just need to take off this screw over there and these screws at the top. So a little bit of lesson in that screw. You got to take that one off. But yeah, this is super dirty. I'm going to wash it when we get done. But I just want to let you guys know that I did take off more of these screws than I needed to, because they really just hold the piece together. So little lesson, all right. And there you guys have it. This is the final product. You're looking at the Delkevic 9-inch exhaust, full exhaust system replaced with the carbon fiber covering, not the stainless steel. I just got it washed. One thing to always keep in mind, especially with this thing, because the hole is so large, you want to make sure that you put some in there so that you don't get any water inside while you're washing it. And you want to make sure you cover that, because that hole's super huge and it's really easy for water to get inside. But this is how it looks. Now the bike is all clean, relatively clean. There's some spots I didn't get on the tires. I was like, well, whatever. I'm gonna be riding it today. I'll be riding it tomorrow. And As a result, you know, it's one of those things where you can only stay clean for so long when it comes to me. But let me give it a shot. Let me go fire it up for you guys. Give it a couple revs. Right quick so you can hear exactly what it sounds like. Sounds awesome. Really love that sound. Now it sounds like a nice, powerful motor with lots of noise behind it, which is good. That's what we really want. One of the key things is really just comes down to safety. As far as like, again, people aren't looking for motorcycles when you're on the highway. There's been several times when people try to merge over into my lane, but because they can't really see me, they don't hear me at all. So then they'll get on over and I gotta watch out for them on there. So hopefully this is gonna be a nice safety fixture that will keep me safe on the highway, and I'll be able to just ride out just real fine. Overall, like if you guys look at what I basically did was I did the insulation for the exhaust. I replaced the radiator or coolant, and also did an oil change on the motorcycle. All those things are really simple, I think. You can do yourself. In regards to this actual exhaust system, one thing, well, before I get to that, one thing I do recommend is that you take off the actual radiator like I did. It made the job a lot easier to get it done. The second thing to keep in mind is that the exhaust sounds great. This does exactly what I need. Because the exhaust, you don't need a tune for it. My airbox is stock, so you don't have to replace that at all. But one of the key things is that the instructions that came with it are very limited, not really good. So, you know, it's one of those things to keep in mind. As far as like, would I recommend this exhaust? For now, I would. Give me a couple weeks to try it out, get on the highway, do all that kind of stuff on it. Then I'll let you know, give you a full review for it. I do think that this is a job that anybody can do, as long as you got really three things. One thing is make sure you have plenty of time. You're not in a rush. You probably could get it done like in about 4 to 5 hours. But I want to take my time with it and everything. So, and I had all those additional stuff I want to get done with it also too. So, but you can get it done pretty fast by yourself. Just take your time. Realize that you're not going to have all the instructions, so you may want to play with the piece first before you get to the install part, as far as taking everything out the box, making sure that everything fits, seeing how it's going to get connected there together. There are some parts of it that were just like a mystery, like this thing over there, as far as like saying, oh, well, I needed to use the one that came with the motorcycle. And then how this whole configuration is, that was a mystery also too. I had to figure that part out and really get that part together. So they're just, it just didn't have that really good instructions for it. Do I recommend it over other ones? I mean, I don't know. I had the Two Brothers motorcycle exhaust system before, and that was amazing. It felt great, sound great at all times. So give me some couple weeks or a week or so to really ride around with it and I give an assessment. Right now, I really do like the way it feels or sounds. It sounds great. It's got a nice deep tone to it. I took the baffle system out, so I didn't bother to listen to it with the baffle in and everything on there. I still have it, so if I do want to install it, I can. But I took that system completely out, is what I did. And so the sound that you're hearing is with it in. So hopefully, I don't know if it's going to come through just fine over the actual internet, maybe it will from that standpoint. But it sounds great. It's a nice deep voice, and I would recommend it right now. But again, give me some time to be on it. Thank you guys so much for watching this. Again, this is not a how-to video, not a mechanic or anything like that. So it's much more of a just, hey, this is what I did and everything. If you got any questions or anything, feel free to put them inside the comments, like and subscribe, and I will see you guys later.